The topic for today's video is going to be, what is a story? What makes up a story? How can we consider something a story? And what is really a story? If someone asked you to decipher the meaning of a story, what can you tell them? What should you tell them? And how many elements are needed to make up a story? A story is a narrative or tale that describes a series of events, whether real or imaginary. It often has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Characters, settings, and a plot unfolding over time or emotional experience are all elements of story. Now here's the big question. What makes a good story? And why should we care about this good story? And here we can define the elements of what makes a good story. Let's begin by defining what gets you the reader, attached to a story. What really grabs your attention? First of all, you might get attracted to the cover. A book with a great cover. Or you might get attracted to the blurb, like the back of the cover, back of the book. But will that be enough to keep you going and to keep you reading the entire book? That is the true question of what makes a good story. There are books out there that are advertised as if we really need to read them. You know, like they're part of the survival kit of the future or something. But here's the thing. Some advertised and overly advertised books may end up disappointing you. And that's because they've been overly hyped in a certain way. Where you kind of like wonder, why should I even bother? You know? But then again, there are some that surprise you. Like, for example, Fourth Wing for me surprised me, even though the first chapter was way too long. And there's so many things happening at the same time, so many characters you have to like follow up on. Honestly, if you tell me and like ask me questions about Fourth Wing and chapter 1, I wouldn't remember unless I go back and read it. But it was a good book. And here's the thing, it was just a good book for me. It wasn't an excellent book. Like Not Your Child by Liz Angus. That one kept me hooked. And I know details of the book. I know aspects of the book. I know the characters. It's like I lived that life, you know? I experienced the book. So the difference between a good book and a great book is huge. So you have the good book, which is like hypely advertised, and it might not be advertised either. It might just be a good book, you know what I mean? But a really great book that keeps you hooked, and keeps you wanting more, and keeps you reading and going and reading and going and reading, that's the book that you have to strive to write. Well, let me tell you a secret. I hated the romance genre for a long time, and only because I didn't find any books that would hook me to the point where I would read the next book in the series, the other book and getting to know the characters and blah 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 blah. But ever since I got to know the Unforgettable series by Nikki A. Lamers, I was hooked. Hooked, I can tell you. Hooked. The reason is her writing is phenomenal. It's brilliant. You get to meet the girl, you get to meet the guy, you get to see the relationship unfold. There's drama, there's romance, there's hate, there's pain, there's sorrow, there's disgust, there's like disappointment, there's like happy times. But it's all real and raw emotions you could feel in the writing. For all couples. My favorite book is book 4. That's just because. Like, I would really love a boyfriend like Jax, but, well, you know, it's just a book boyfriend. But yeah, she made me fall in love with romance again. And ever since her series, while granted there are brilliant series out there in different genres, this one for me is my favorite and will always be my favorite. And no romance series can top this series. With Nikki's books, you get to meet every single character, and not in a way where she forces you to like them. You know, this is what I'm trying to tell you about the secret. The secret is you shouldn't force your reader to like a specific character just because you wrote the character that you want them to like or something, if that makes sense. I don't think that makes sense. But okay, let's say that you're writing a book and your main character is the only character that you want them to like, right? Why? Let the reader make up their mind. Don't write the character in a way that you want the reader just to choose that character. Let your reader enjoy every single character in your book. Every single character. Because once you force them into a direction where you want them to root for these two characters just because you like them, it's going to be more of like a less kind of enjoyment. It's more like a read because I want you to read my story. You know what I mean? It's like TV shows, you know? When you're watching a TV show, who is your favorite character? Obviously, it should be the first one you see, right? No, wrong. Like for me, in let's say the Vampire Diaries, my favorite character is Catherine. Okay? She's a badass. A strict badass. Seriously, I love her. She's one of the best characters ever written. Okay? I hate Elena. I hate everything about Elena. I don't know why. Even though that everybody loves Elena, they love Stefan, they love the whole, dynamic there, I hate those two. I mean, I like Stefan with Caroline, yes. But Catherine, for me, makes the show. You understand? The originals. Obviously, Klaus is my favorite because I met him when he was on the show of Vampire Diaries. So I followed his story there. I liked his vibe, his, villain style, whatever. Who else? For Teen Wolf, we were introduced to so many characters in Teen Wolf. I guess I have a couple, to be honest. I would say Derek Hale. Probably Theo. Because his arc was an interchangeable arc. Like it just kind of like went all over the place, and then just towards the end it was like changing, and that's what I liked about it. Like we could see his villain side, and then we saw like his normal, like his good side, sort of, yeah. So, and then we have the Supernatural. Supernatural, obviously, I followed the brothers. They're my favorite. But I loved Crowley. he was a funny character for me, you know? He was like, yes, villainy and all that, but he was funny. He was really funny. You understand? So, what I'm trying to say is, do not force your reader to love a character just because you wrote them in a way that you want them to like them. Okay? Try your best to give a leeway for all your characters to be liked, loved, hated, despised, whatever, but not to force them into being the best character or the only character they should root for, because then you've lost the plot. So, what is the secret of writing a good story? Sorry, scratch that. What is the secret of writing a great story? The secret of writing a great story is to write characters that people will love no matter who you root for. It doesn't matter. You're not the... Okay, let me say it this way. You're writing because you want to entertain people, right? You're doing it because you love it, correct? But don't force anyone's hand into reading and falling in love with a character that you want them to fall in love with. Allow them to enjoy the story the way they should or they want to, and allow them to ship whoever they want together. Allow them to love whoever they want. Don't force their hand. So, we defined story, and I told you the secret of a great story. Now, it's your turn. Comment down below what other secrets you know. The topic for today's video is going to be what... Never mind. Dying. Many people ask me, why would I keep reading a book even after... No. I've been asked this countless times. When I read a book and I get involved... Oh, no. A book hooks me with a good blah 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 blah. What the fuck? A great book can be really... I have no idea what the fuck I'm saying. You have books that are advertised. Insanely advertised.